The alter ego. Alter egos have been used as an important part in cultivating the creative genius. Many artists have used the alter ego to change their perception of themselves, whether it's to feel more beautiful or to feel more confident. In short, the alter ego is a Latin phrase which means other I or alternative personality, first coined by Greek philosopher Cicero in the first century in Rome. The alter ego definition I feel a lot of artists use nowadays is the intentionally designed personality definition. Many artists, mostly musicians, use a separate persona to craft their identity in the public. And as we see, these alter egos end up being a part of their brand or they end up being used multiple times throughout the artistic process. Crafting and then having an alter ego is a continuous process of self discovery and growth, and open up the opportunity to be more creative. While the term alter ego is coined back in the first century, it really gets its start with Sigmund Freud, considering the alter ego to be a stage in the early part of childhood. In popular media, one of the first notable examples of an alter ego is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and the concept of having a good and evil side. To me, this is a good example of the evil alter ego. Furthermore, classic superheroes like Batman or Spider-Man, who use these superhero personas as a front to allow the person underneath to lead a low-key life, whether it's to protect their family or to just have a normal life when the day is saved. One of the few examples that I found of an alter ego that has gone wrong is with Miley Cyrus's Hannah Montana. In an interview with Rolling Stone, she admits that there weren't clear boundaries between the show and her life. I had to evolve because Hannah was larger than life, larger than me. I felt like I was never going to amount to the success of Hannah Montana. In this case, Miley Cyrus felt like she couldn't outgrow this character, and unfortunately had the opposite effect that a creative alter ego should have. People couldn't get past the persona. This is why it's important to create a persona that you really like because it's hard to go back once you gain traction. There are many examples of really great alter egos that celebrities have created over the years. Like I said before, musicians are the most popular examples, but I wanted to try and at least get somebody who wasn't a musician necessarily, and that person is Marilyn Monroe. This is a woman who needs no introduction, but I believe Marilyn Monroe is one of the few actresses that has been able to cultivate this personality through an alter ego. While it's widely known or widely believed that this alter ego came out of trauma and a troubled childhood, I can't deny that there is a star power that she has been able to create by being another person. I won't go into too many details about Marilyn Monroe because she's been discussed so extensively, but I at least wanted to acknowledge that the character of Marilyn Monroe is an elaborate use of the alter ego, not only in behavior but ingrained in the image as well. Her blonde hair and red lips are the most widely recognized staples and has been imitated countless times. Something that isn't so widely known is that she had a second persona named Zelda Zonk, who she used as a way to blend in with the public. In an interesting way, the persona of Marilyn Monroe has become an outlet for other people's creativity, most notably Andy Warhol, who used her image after her death in 1962 as a way to kind of elevate his own celebrity in a way. In my opinion, Marilyn Monroe is another example of an alter ego that unfortunately in some ways backfired on her. In one way, it's elevated her to a status that she might have not reached if she hadn't became Marilyn Monroe. But in another way, it pigeonholed her into becoming the dumb blonde sex bomb type that I know she really hated to be after a while, which once again defeats the purpose to me of having an alter ego. It should never limit you creatively. Another popular example of using the alter ego is David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust. While David Bowie has many other personas, the most enduring one has been Ziggy Stardust. What I find interesting about Ziggy Stardust is that he doesn't overstay his welcome. David Bowie, unlike Marilyn Monroe, didn't allow himself to become so entangled into the persona that he just became Ziggy Stardust and nothing else. He treats Ziggy as a character that has a small part in a large play. When Ziggy's story is told, the character goes away and another character falls into place. Now, David Bowie could have milked Ziggy Stardust probably to the end of his career. But like I said, what I find really cool is that he's able to use these characters for a story he wants to tell and not overstay the welcome or become the character too much. Because I think Ziggy Stardust was not meant to be a permanent alter ego that David Bowie embodies and that's it. He became a character that allowed him to tell the story he wanted to tell. Lastly, Nicki Minaj has used alter egos in her work. Nicki Minaj is kind of like an interesting mix between Marilyn Monroe and David Bowie. Something that I found in my research is that she created alter egos as a coping mechanism in her childhood that over time became the creative outlet for her. Some of her most famous alters even have backstories and connections with other alter egos. For example, Roman Zelensky, who is the son of Martha Zelansky, is another alter ego. In my opinion, Nicki uses alter egos in the best way. She uses them as a way to evolve creatively in her music, whether they represent an aspect of her as a person or the beginning of a new creative project or era. So we reached the end of the deep dive. Thank you so much for watching the video. I have more videos to come on this subject matter. I'm really interested in the alter ego, and I feel like I have so much more to still say and do. But for now, this is just the first part of a series of videos I have in the works. But once again, thank you so much for watching and subscribe or like if you want to keep up with these videos and see what's in store next.